Today's guest is a true Jiu-Jitsu legend, multiple time world champion, creator of the Berimbolo, and a key figure in the evolution of the modern guard. Please welcome Professor Samuel Braga. Thank you, brother. Thank you
My pleasure to be here for sure.
Great,
as always.
I always have a good time. I always have fun when we're hanging out and doing stuff and on the mat. So thank you for coming out, teaching today, and sharing your knowledge and your friendship too.
Yes, that's important.
A lot of years.
Connection.
I have memories. Memories of I took you to the Team Quest, right?
That was all epic
MMA,
moment.
right? And I think they had the lighter weight divisions for the WEC, maybe.
Yeah.
But you would have been like 125. I don't think they even had 125 weight division at the time. Only like Shudo in Japan.
Yeah, Judo, yeah.
So we were trying to like, okay, what path can you take? But there was really like not.
Yeah.
There was like very limited path, and like there was nothing.
Limited opportunities. I think it was 155 was the lowest division. And then was it everything that
you competed like 135 super feather and rooster, right, as well sometimes.
Yeah, rooster
125.
and rooster 125 and light feather
135.
135 and 141 with the uniform, the gi. I think God has a purpose, and sometimes we will never understand until some point in life, and then just let it to go with the flow and let God, take control of the situation.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday, just about your philosophy, becoming philosophers, right? Just hanging out.
The older you get, the more experience and knowledge you acquire, is more likely for you to think about things, philosophical aspect of life.
Yeah. But just also the discussion about ecological jiu-jitsu training and regular training and just the proper ways or the different ways, right, of learning and the approach to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I believe that there's no absolute, right? I believe that there's no absolute in anything. I think that there is space and there's ways of learning, and can be more effective at some point and less effective in others. And it depends what type of environment that you want to provide to the students and learn experience. So that all takes takes a lot of the instructor about what he want to take the room that he at the point is leading, right? And what you want to provide to your students, value. And then that's for me comes down to it. At this point in my life, I'm at a different stage, and I want to provide an environment that is not about always winning. It's about improving. It's about to challenge and be able to build each other up. Mm-hmm. So in that environment, I think the ecological training matches to my mindset right now, what I'm at in my life and stage of my life that I'm in, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. We were talking earlier, we don't have to mention names, right? But just the different schools back 25 years ago, whatever, 20 years ago plus. But just back in those days, they already had like people are training like kind of drilled, game-based kind of training, right?
Yeah.
And those schools actually are the ones that are doing really well these days in tournaments, right? Or like really dominating.
Yeah, because it didn't get burned out, right? So it was like a more logical approach into the game. I think like that's one thing the martial arts. I became an instructor, and I became more like because you can become selfless, right? And whenever you're an athlete, there's a aspect or a period of your life you become really selfish, because it's all about your progress and improvement in a certain extent. And I approach it differently now, and I think that's not necessarily the right approach, because it's like this. Let's pretend that I'm in a room, that I'm the best in the room, right? So how can I make the room better? Just become selfless, try the ability of me to share the information with my trained partner and make them better. They'll get better, I will get better. And back in the day, it was not necessarily the same approach that as we speak right now. It was about, I'm good, I'm going to get good, I'm going to be better. I don't care about anybody else. So it's like a self-approach that it is how long you keep that approach, right? There's a point.
Yeah. There was, who Dan Gable is? I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But just, he was, but he became a coach, right? And so he trained with his guys and became like selfless and put himself into his athletes, right? His wrestlers. But the same thing, right? Like I just, you know, what you have to make that transition, right? Being an athlete, because when you're an athlete or like a fighter, right, you have to be like really selfish.
Yeah, I think that in a certain extent, yes, you do. You know, like again.
I mean, I was that because I've been teaching for so long, so I was at the highest level, whatever. And you know, I was always teaching and kind of raising up the level of the room, because it was either that or I didn't have a place to train, so it was kind of like there was no other gym, right? So
exactly,
I had to create my training partners.
Exactly, and then this comes down to it, your mindset, right? At that point and the stage you're in life. But I mean, think back in the day, I remember that I had questions, even regards to technique that for example, I go somebody higher level than me and I ask, well, how you got me like that? And they're like, oh man, you don't know about it. And then you never share, right? There was no trying to make the other train partner better. It was just about winning, and not necessarily make the other person better. And I came to guys that some sort of I look to be somebody like that, like idol. And then I asked them questions like, man, how do you do this? They're like, oh man, I don't have time to explain that to you. So I felt like it was not a space to share or to make the other person better. Or sometimes, like, can I drill on you? They're like, no, we can't. So, and then it becomes like a selfish approach to the game where in the end, I believe that you become more an athlete, not a martial artist. Because I think an athlete's your ability is to get yourself better in a certain extent, in a certain approach, and win. Where the martial artist, I think, your goal is to improve yourself in every aspect and the environment around you to be better, right? And that's what
having that culture, we were talking about that earlier, having the culture in the gym of being a martial artist, self-improvement, right? Yes, of course you want to win, you want to be the best, but at the bottom that base should be there, right? That the like a better school.
Right? I think, in my opinion, there's come to levels of the person, right? I mean, I think there's like levels to the game of jiu-jitsu. There's level of evolution as involved as a person, right? I think whenever you want to just win and everything's about yourself, you're almost like a prime mode. And as we evolve as a person, you become more selfless. And then I think that also relate to the spiritual side. I mean, a lot of times that people don't like that, but I think that's really important for me. As a Christian, I never understood, right? When I started reading the Bible first, it's like, man, be like a sheep. What that even means, right? And I came to the conclusion because I was surrounded by people that are tough and puffing, and I thought that was the right way to be. And I not necessarily think that was be able to assert your dominance and strength. And for me, as I'm more involved as a person, I think it's a sign of weakness. And that's why Jesus said, be like a sheep, because it's the hardest thing to be kind and helpful, because you have to put yourself not first. So that's my opinion.
There's a book I always talk about. It's called The Art of War. Sun Tzu, the Harvard Business School, I think is required reading from what I hear. But there's a chapter, a part where he says, if you're weak, act strong. If you're strong, act weak. You know what I mean? So if you're puffing your chest out and trying to you act like you're doing that because
trying to prove something.
So if you got it, if you're confident, strong, like you almost act like.
And I thought before that was like sign, because I was surrounded by that environment and that type of example. And then I realized, and the more I evolve as a person, that's actually not the right way to approach anything in life, I believe.
Yeah, man. We're talking about how, like, just the years go by, right? Before we know it, every year or every time I see you, like, there's like a little bit different, somewhat, from when we were younger,
Yes.
So it's cool, and talking a lot of like philosophy and your approach to training, and I enjoy it. It's like you went over the way you taught today was definitely different than you've ever taught before. I mean, last time I think you came, we drilled literally like I think 8 hours that day or something like that,
Yeah, it
something
was a
crazy.
crazy amount of time.
We started at, I don't know what time, I think before class or at noon, and then we
Yeah.
kept going, and then we took like a little break, and then we came back. We drilled to like, what was it, like 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that.
I believe that the drills is really important to the game in a certain extent, but it, like you, and I believe that what I want to share with on the mats is like, for example, the high level guy understand the drill is important, the highest level, right? When you become a top player, there is space for you to drill in a certain extent. After you understand the general concepts that are highly important for you in jiu-jitsu, the fundamental concepts. But like if you talk about like yourself as a business entrepreneur and run in a good environment or a gym, what's the most optimal to do it? And then that's what I think nowadays. I think about like a person that comes from the street and be able to join my class and have the best of time of their life. You know, and I also I'm not talking about, but I have to give this guy credit because I don't think is own do justice. You know, I was listening to this guy. For me, at this point, he has a really good mindset, which is Fabio Gurgel.
One of the
He's
founders
talking
of Alliance.
Yeah, his approach was really enlightening to me and make me change a lot of my perspective of jiu-jitsu. He said, like, take ownership that the guy's walking in your gym as a white belt.
Yeah.
If he does not come back, it's your fault. So thinking about that, I was like, man, it gave me like some sort of a, burden in a certain extent. Like, because I mean, I want the guy or the girl that comes to my gym for the first time to have the best time of their life and having a great environment to play and to train, right? And thinking about that, that's what I'm tailoring my teachings to be, because it's okay to be a world champion. It's understanding. It's just a commitment. You can be good at anything as long as you commit yourself to it. But getting a person that never done jiu-jitsu.
It's funny you say that. It's a Marcelo Garcia. There's a quote like that. If you work hard enough, anybody can be a world champion. But I think you need the right approach and you have to do the right things. For example, all the neuroscience stuff that I've studied, right?
Yeah.
Some people can't understand or can't learn certain concepts or things like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So you have to like be able to understand that person and be able to maybe break down the techniques into simpler things.
Right?
What's that?
There will be empathetic.
Yeah, but also like the you have to like break it down for people to learn certain things, But I'm just saying, if you have the right approach, that you can, and work hard enough, you can, right?
Yeah, and now imagine. Então that's why I think every day.
I don't know why I just said that, but I just thought I was like,
it was amazing. And that's what thing is like. I think that as teachers, as a role model, you want that person. Like, let's put this way. I have some all levels class, and then there's somebody comes straight first time walk in, right? How can make that person fall in love with jiu-jitsu? Provide the right environment. And I want them to get out the first class and, hey, that was an awesome class. But how do you do that? How is the approach there? I mean, then become like subjective, But I think it's in us as that's what Fabio's talking about. We're educators, educating people about jiu-jitsu and make them love jiu-jitsu. So I feel like that's my job there when I'm in my classroom, I would say classroom, because I feel like now I take more responsibility as an educator.
Yeah, you were talking about the somebody new comes in from off the street, and it's your job to really get them to want to stay, right?
Stay in, yeah.
And my brain right away tries to simplify things, I guess, for me to learn it. I was talking about like not everybody can be a world champion, but like this simplifying things so people can learn it.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking, okay, how can I simplify this? And I always say like when I would train staff or whatever, it's like you have like kind of three things that you can get to you want to give to the student. One, that they can do it.
Yes.
One, that they can be good at it.
Yes.
And then the third is that this is the right place for them.
Exactly. That's so important.
And so asking them, hey, what made you want to, it's the same thing when people call or they come in off the street. It's but once they do the class, those three things. But then when they come off the street or they call, right, we're like, you set up rapport, you talk to them and ask them, hey, what made you want to come in and to train? Or for you bring your son in or daughter in to train. Okay, you listen, right? Okay. And then you can help them in the right direction, right? Because many people come in for different things, right?
Yeah, different goals, right? They have
different goals, exactly. So you want to, cater it. Of course, once they're in it, they benefit and many other things that they
Many
didn't
things, yeah.
expect, right? But the first step is them like, okay,
Be able to understand them, right?
right? They want one thing, so hey, can we help them? 100% we can, but we have to know like why did they come in? What made them want to come in, right?
Yes, so important.
So
And that's one thing. Like I was talking to the guys and when I was teaching, like we talk about this too. What we want, right, as an instructor is not necessarily what
the student wants. That's good. That's a good one too.
So because I mean, I've seen people say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna teach this kids class. I'm gonna show them the Berimbolo," but are they ready yet? I mean, how
That's
can
good.
I mean, the whole room, right? Let's pretend you read the room and you have 5 black belts, 10 black belts.
Like you came in today, right? And everybody was expecting probably for you to teach Berimbolo.
Some crazy techniques, right? And it's like, yeah,
Delihiva, well, yeah. Some
but
crazy techniques.
It's good, but like
And he just did basic concepts of
basic
control.
concepts, control, mobility, and understanding jiu-jitsu, because that's one thing about. Why is this important? I'll tell you this, right? So if I show the Berimbolo, if the guy cannot hip escape or get to the right angle, how are they going to be able to execute it? If you
Yeah.
don't understand mobility, right? For how can he make himself like be faster? How can he control the person better? So there's like so many key components to it that once they understand, they can do it. And my goal now is to start from there and be able to expand from there. That's what I think my approach now. I really wanted to show them. That's why I stay longer. And I realized, man,
you passionate. Like if I let you go, you'll go.
I'll stay there
3-4 hours. Yeah.
because I mean, I feel like that's my view of jiu-jitsu now. I mean, here, it'll be easy for me to do 1 hour, but I want to make sure that the customer is always happy.
Somebody was asking me today, why is it called Berimbolo? Where did that come from?
So this is like I think Der Galvão came up with the name. And he's a really smart guy. I have a lot of admiration for him as well. I mean, I follow him on Instagram, and he achieved great things, and he's a really good role model. And I have nothing but admiration for Andre. He's a phenomenal person, and he's a really smart guy as well. He's doing a phenomenal job, successful. For me nowadays, I look at the person and not only successful business-wise, but he's successful in every aspect of his life. He has his head on his shoulder. He has a good family. He has good values, and he's really smart. So he did a great job given the name. Like he's like Berimbolo is like mixing a cake, essentially.
Mixing in the cake?
Mixing a cake. Something around
It's
those
like
lines.
a slang, right? Like
yeah. Berimbolo is a cake.
Oh, bolo.
Berimbolo,
Okay.
bearing.
Mixing
a cake. That's why the motion, is
Gotcha.
constantly
Like battering the mix, the cake mix.
Yes.
Got it.
That's the thing, the
Okay,
idea
there we
from
go.
it. Yeah. So he's a smart guy. So those the Mendes brothers as well have a good admiration for them as well. They're phenomenal. What they're doing, they've been really successful, and they're dedicated. That's really happy for them as well.
Yeah. We're talking about the approaches like Terere and even Galvão, right? Like that back in the day, right? They were already training really smart and
Yeah. Like that's one thing. The TDD comes from the school, right? From Fábio Gugels and they
Leo Vieira, Checkmate, all the same,
those
right?
guys, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They have a really smart approach.
Yeah.
You look at those guys; they're extremely technical.
Yeah.
And I remember Cobrinha talk about escolinha. Cobrinha is also
little school
student
slang.
of TDD.
Uh-huh.
He's like doing drills. The TDD, they say that after he do a lot of techniques, and then he trained really hard. Then after, he'll do a lot of drills after when he was tired. And then I always want to do drills as well, but not everybody is willing to do it, the drill aspect. Because it's like anything, there's a process, I think, for anything. Any acquisition of a skill, there's a process behind. And the process is harder than actually the result. Everybody wants the result, but they want to go through the process. And the process can be methodical, can be boring, but
playing in the positions,
playing the game, even like this patience, right? Playing the games to be able to understand your body, to understand. That's the game is about, right? The body has to understand. You're building a connecting, right, to the idea, the concept, to your body be able to execute, right?
Yeah.
And it's like anything, you're gonna lag at first because your body's trying to understand your body, your mind, everything understands. So it's gonna be a slow process.
Yeah.
but over time you can see the improvement in the room. I don't think they realize themselves, but from outside perspective, you see a huge improvement on the ability of them to move, ability of them to be able to get to positions and get to the win, like in a sense, like win the game, that round. So it takes time, but once you go through the process, is really gratifying. And I believe that those guys are already doing that. The process they did was a really, they really value the process because they knew the result come. And you can tell by when Cobrinha was in his peak, man. He was the man, right? Because he came into the school that was
Escolinha.
The Escolinha. Tererê also, extremely good, extremely, I mean, you can watch him. To this day, he's modern jiu-jitsu. Leo, those guys, some other guys, of course. I mean, just name those because they come to that type of mindset,
Of that era, right? Too
the
earlier era. That was modern jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, because if you look at 2002, 2004, if some of the guys after that generation carry on that the Escolinha drills mindset,
The style of training, the style of learning,
like for
right?
example, the Miel brothers, when they're doing, right, they're drilling like crazy amount of hours, and but because they understood, right, but drills are important, games are important, but it's like the drills is gonna require a special type of person to do it, methodology, but at the same time, there's the pros and cons and everything. And I think you have to make the right assessment what works the best for you. But as a coach, I try to do what's the best for my students. And I think overall, I think that's the approach that I think makes more sense because you challenge yourself all the time. And
You're moving, right? You're doing
moving.
something.
Both players are learning. There's no idle time for the players. They're in the game.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I just had a thought about, Dutch style Muay Thai, like Bang Muay Thai. They kind of, you're punching and kicking, but you're also receiving, and you kind of have to react and move with the person, right? Yeah. And so actually, even though you're receiving,
almost like drills, but
you're learning with them,
Yeah,
so
that's basically
your brain is working.
That's basically what it is, and that's
your
probably
spatial awareness improves.
I think everybody's doing that now in MMA now. They don't spar like porrada
not like
anymore.
it used to be. Yeah.
Now they're doing like that type of training.
Yeah,
right?
Smarter training for sure.
Smart training
for sure.
Thinking like everybody's doing. I heard that like in the rooms now. That's what they've been doing a lot lately, right? Not shoot your box anymore.
I mean, that's how it was back in the day, right?
Yeah.
People get knocked out left and right in training.
Yeah, but look at those guys nowadays. I mean, and
that's the evolution,
longevity.
Right?
Look at the longevity of them on the ring. I mean, Shogun. He had a incredible career, but it was so short, right? His career was really short, so it went a little bit longer, but it's still short compared with the guys nowadays.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the guys nowadays, right? Oh, it's like everybody has their time and then they don't, right? Until one shot, right?
Yeah, because your body is like designed to do that, right? And once you start getting shut down, it's just tendency to get faster and faster.
Your reaction speed is a little bit slower if you're not working on your stuff, your things. But then age gets everybody, right. Eventually,
I think that's something you cannot beat, right? It's time.
Father time. Yeah.
I think the value of our time is very important.
Yeah, we're gonna go to San Diego tomorrow, and just kind of seizing those moments, right? Because the years go by.
Yeah.
So fast, right? Like in 5 years, it's gonna be different. 10 years, it's gonna be different.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, let's go down to San Diego. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I need to go.
Share those times, right?
What's that? Share those times. Yeah. Connect and
decompress,
deconnect. As well. Disconnect, right? So just enjoy the moments. With friends and longtime people, right? Longtime brothers. So yeah, or else the time goes by and
yeah, because you
just take it for granted, right?
Yeah, oftentimes you get so
because we all need it. We all need it.
Yeah, you get in a routine. You get on a grind.
Share our reality, sharing what's going on. Like
whenever you get a chance to slow things down and be able to enjoy each other's company and share,
so we're gonna put our feet in the sand, Kevin.
It's called earthing.
earthing. Get those positive ions.
Yeah,
We're gonna
man.
literally put our
Earthing.
feet in the sands. We're gonna go to the
Yeah.
beach.
They say that's really part for you, good for your health, you know. Because if you think about it, in the big scheme of things, you know,
They say that not only the ground, right, the positive ions has the most positive ions, but also even the air
there,
by
yeah.
the ocean.
I think that's really truthful because,
Of course, the vitamin D and everything else.
yeah,
Right?
I mean, we're made of energy.
I'm
man.
white, and you and Suru are like.
You get a little bit darker, man. It's like it favors us because you don't get like sunburn that easy, you know. But it's cool things like you're made of energy. Why you keep your body warm, right? It's energy, and I think that whenever you connect to Earth, you know, you reset your body, you know. And I think the water is really important because it's a catalyst.
Catalyst.
Yeah, so I truly believe that.
Yeah, water is a catalyst.
Of catalyst. You've seen like if you throw water in a circuit, it goes bad fast. Everything, you know. Some great conductors and it just speed up. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking.
No, I love that
sense,
stuff. I love the
but
stuff. I love all the electricity, energy, and frequency because we are
frequency,
energy, right?
yeah. Vibration.
Vibration, right? The Joe
The heart.
Dispenza, the Dr. Joe Dispenza. I loved his book Becoming Supernatural because he broke it down like this in a scientific kind of way. We're mainly energy, right?
Yeah.
And if you break down an atom, it's 0.0001, like the nucleus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the rest is like electrons. It's space, empty space,
Yeah.
and energy.
Yeah,
So we're
there's
mainly
some-
energy. We're like
so
0.99999 whatever.
There's a
energy.
lot of theories behind. You know, I was thinking about it on my way here. Like, you know, it's just like and I get to this thoughtful
Philosophy.
Yeah, but it's thinking about like these Egyptians, you know, how they carry those stones, right? Vibration. I believe they had a advanced technology at the time.
Or is it, are they aliens?
I
What
mean,
about the pillars underneath the pyramids? Did you see
think
them
that-
finding those pillars that go
yeah.
like a mile deep?
I think that the fallen angels, but again,
Fallen angels?
yeah, it's in the Bible.
It could be, yeah. It's in the
Fallen
Bible?
angels, yeah, and they talk about that. You know, if there was they were looking at this, they were deciphering that, and even on the columns, they were talking about like Lucifer. They fought, you know, talk about the angels and the fight, the Lucifer and
The good and evil.
rebellions and good and evil, and they got it. They got if you think about it, even the Marvel comics, look at about Thor. It's the same history. Man, when he got cast out, so the Lucifer got cast out. So I believe the fallen angels they share the knowledge. If you look in a lot of the Marvel movies, but look at the so if you like Eternals. Eternals is the same thing. So I truly believe that. I mean, there's what they say. The Bible's about that. If everything in the Bible is an amazing book. Why? It's already. I mean, I've been doing a lot of research, PhDs in history, PhDs in theology. I have this guy that I follow. He's a theologian and also he's a historian as well. And he say cross-reference, think with the history, with the Bible, everything matches. And some of those guys that wrote at the time didn't have internet. Didn't have during different parts of the world, but they talk about the same thing. How is that possible? They cross-reference each other, no?
Yeah. I mean, even the pyramids, right? Like it goes whatever, how many a kilometer deep, right? The pillars, like how does that make sense? And even the latitude and longitude, right?
Yeah,
Of
everything
everything is like the center. It's like
the mathematical
how do
advancement.
they even know that's the center, right, of everything?
There's a lot of mystery out there, and it's like not revealed to us. There's a purpose, brother. There's a purpose for everything, and I believe that we are, we are designed, right? If you think in the Bible, why you were made of energy? God is energy, right? So if you think in everything is a mathematical, everything in the Bible is a mathematical. Even the Bible, geometry, everything, and also how they build ark. And then we talk about the Egyptians, everything is mathematical there, everything. And we also, how we and everything else is connected. There's no disconnection. And I believe that it's something beyond of understanding, but I believe in God, And whenever we start connecting to that type of person, to become connected more to God, we have more understanding of things. And I believe that truly on that, right? And because we always sometimes with like even the distraction, the energy that's look at the media, for example. Talk about energy. What they always show on a TV, always the show on the media. They never talk about good things, not about accomplishment,
Like
beautiful nature,
fear and
fear, because they want to change your energy, you want to change your frequency.
to control you. Yeah.
Because why is that? Because you cannot achieve your potential, full potential. You don't feel not right the frequency.
To lower your frequency, so it can be controlled easier.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why you got to hang out with the right people, man. Get you excited. Do jiu-jitsu, get on the mat, train, move.
It's really important.
Get the energy high.
In the God talks about in the Bible, guard your heart.
Guard your heart.
Guard your heart, because He knows. What guard your heart is? What is the energy that pulses? Whenever you get too excited or too fearful, you change your energy, your frequency, your heart. So in your mind. So I just truly believe that. So guard your heart, and then you'll be able to achieve great things in life.
Right, the whole thing with science and religion, right? It's you can't explain things, and the smartest people, it can be a science guy, whatever, but the smartest people say we think, but we don't know, right?
Yeah, I believe that.
So, like,
at a certain extent, if you start connecting the dots, everything start making sense, in my opinion, because
we'll know soon enough, right? As technology advances and we become one with the light. Yeah. Are you gonna get the chip, the AI chip?
No, I won't. I can't, because then
like the Matrix. I know. I want to learn jiu-jitsu.
I know.
In
everything.
like 10 seconds, you learn jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Or karate or kung fu.
Yeah, I believe that whenever you are connected already.
Because somebody can hack you, maybe.
No, think about this. That's a good thought process. With your phone, can you connect your phone? Look into how often you need to connect your phone.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like crazy, It's like.
Is that part of you say?
Yeah, it's an extension. The kind of now. Yeah. It's crazy.
So that's we already modified.
We're a cyborg. Yeah, we're
you already are there. Because it is a ability of you to amplify and be able to multitask is based on that device. So your potential get amplified. If you're using the right way, you can amplify and do more things with that. It's all about. And that's when it comes down to like, what we are programmed to do. I think in America right now we're programmed to be distracted.
We're talking about right, like me going to put the feet in the sand, disconnect and connect, right? Yeah. As humans, like it's like so important, right? Because we're always so busy doing so many things, multitasking, whatever, with our devices and technology. But what really matters is it that, or is it just like human connection? Us like doing this, right?
Yeah.
Talking about things, philosophizing, whatever, training, doing jiu-jitsu, being present.
I think the connection with the nature, with your friends, it is important. There's kind of reset.
Reset, yeah.
There's a reset button right there. I truly believe that, and I try to be more connected to the nature. As I went with the family to the beach, it was like one amazing time. And when you disconnect right from your device and be able to connect to the nature, and be able to start even hear your thoughts, right?
Hear your thoughts, yeah.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, we have a lot, like you were talking about God and, all these things, and we have like the power inside of us, right? And we think we need to do all these different things, but it's all already inside of us.
Yeah.
Right? That intelligent, that infinite intelligence.
Yeah, it's
you just gotta feel it and listen to it and be present with it.
Yeah, sometimes I question, and even like sometimes I get, have you like feel that way, like you get some ideas that is like, man, this is such a great idea, I don't even know this come from, right? It's amazing. And as I think, like, whenever I became more spiritual and not as self-centered, I feel like I have some ideas, even how I explain things in class, and even how I see things, different things in my line of work or different things that I'm doing. And I'm thinking, man, God is so amazing. Give him the knowledge that I even know I had. It's just like if you look even at cartoons, right? I was watching a cartoon, and then this guy connect to nature, and he's amplify his energy and amplify his thought process. And I truly believe we can do that. Even the CIA done it. If you look at some of the classified files, they talk about that, but I'm not going there. I don't want to be thinking people.
Why
think
not?
I'm going to conspiracy theory. Let them do their own research.
I'll go all in. Why not talk about it?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Like our opinions, right?
Yeah.
We all have a different opinions, and what
yeah.
our one person's reality is different than somebody else's. But
Yeah.
I think hearing everybody's perspective on things, right, allows
Yeah.
us to make even better.
But I like people to do the research, because whenever you plant the seed and let them get in the rabbit hole and they find the conclusions, because sometimes it's like this, right? It's like that's how Jesus taught everything.
Mm-hmm.
The way he taught it was so beautiful, because he never said, that's where the ecological training comes from. The critical thinking. You want the person to find the answers, right? Whenever you find your own answers and you do your own research, you learn it. If I tell you what you have to do or not to do, you're going to question. But if I say, hey, if you want to know a little bit about this, go do your own research, people are more inclined to do that. Because a human being is really amazing, because we are, sometimes when somebody tell you what to do, right? Like my daughter, for example, if I say, you're going to do this because you have to do it, it's like, nah, I'm not know if she might do it.
Find the answers
and
yourself.
then, but if I tell her, look, how about you do this, and not necessarily tell her, but help her find the right way of doing things, and is exactly what sometimes what we want.
Because it's kind of like control, right? Like me telling you what to do.
Is a control.
But when you're free to kind of explore and figure out yourself, you're free and you're at a higher, speaking of energy, like a higher frequency, right?
The higher frequency, and I think
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's why I think the same thing. If I tell you, hey, you do the technique this way, then you're gonna question me the whole time. It's like, hey, but I doing this way works for me, because you might be doing the technique with a different body type that I was demonstrating the technique, by different grip, my different approach. So whenever I give him the overall concept, he's gonna do things. You're gonna get to the same outcome, but he's gonna might grip differently.
Yeah,
it might work better for him.
A lot of people hate on just the name itself, ecological training, right?
Why they hate?
I don't know, because why ecological? Why does it have to be such a long word to explain something simple? And why not game based or something else?
They know the beautiful thing about whenever somebody don't understand things, they fear or they hate. Until you understand and experience yourself, I don't think that's a thing that you should be doing.
Yeah.
Remember when you're doing 50-50?
But you have to be like open to it, right?
Open to it. Open your mind,
open
right?
to it, yeah.
Like, remember 50-50?
Yeah, of course.
Remember how
we just did 50-50 this last month, and people are like, they don't want to do it if they're not comfortable doing it, right? And
there you go. Why they don't like it.
And then by the end of the month, people are like, they're doing it, right?
Why they don't like it?
Because they're not familiar. They don't know it.
Because
Shouldn't say everybody, but some people don't.
Because they're not competent at. People usually do want to be comfortable.
Comfort zone, right? They want to keep doing what they're good at.
Yeah. And then I was listening to this scientist talking about, whenever you're doing things uncomfortable all the time, you develop your brain in a certain extent beyond than a regular person. They always stay in a comfort zone.
Yeah, that's it. It's the only way to grow, right?
Yeah. So whenever I'm in an uncomfortable position or uncomfortable situation, I thrive on it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Berimbolo. How does somebody like a white belt? You're talking again. It's a loaded question, right? But how does a white belt or a blue belt? How do they improve their Berimbolo? How do they get their Berimbolo to be effective?
You have to understand the game, because it's like it's like in a simple way. It's like this, right? It's two things. I'm gonna do this way. This kind of sounds silly, but some people think like, this guy just want to share it. It's like, I want to share with you guys, but you have to understand the guard itself, right? The open guard, which is like, what the guard is encompass with the compass of my guard. It would be basically my ability of control my opponent. And I have to control my opponent in a way that I will constrain him, right? Because I manipulate my opponent with the grips. All I'm doing with my grips is be able to control and manipulate my opponent. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, I want enough space. So I almost do a distance management where I can be able to move my hips and neutralize his. Mm-hmm. And the Berimbolo is nothing that. When I weave my leg in the inside, I'm restrain the movement of what? His hips. So then I control his hips. Whenever I control his hips, I'm gonna connect to his hips. And then for me to be able to get to his back, I'm gonna have to expose his back. So all about you controlling the hips, ability for you to connect to the hips, and expose their back. Once you expose their back, you're able to take their back.
Yeah, it's a simple way to put it.
Yes.
You just got to do it, though, right?
Yes. And
You know, because you can talk, right? You can talk, people learn differently, right? You can
Yes.
talk about it
yeah,
like
there's
verbally,
people that like to be visual.
visualize, and
Yeah.
also just the tactical, right? Like touching and doing
Yeah.
actually the position.
You know, if anybody wants to do it, there's a lot of materials to study. You invite me for a seminar.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you have
joke
some
aside.
instructionals out?
Yeah, there's a lot of instructions.
Oh, you
out.
have like back in the day, you did one of the first
I did
ones on
one,
Berimbolo, Buddha
yeah,
videos back in the
I did
day.
with the Buddha videos,
The original Berimbolo.
and then I did it with the fanatics as
You
well.
did it with Edwin Najmi, right?
Yeah,
His partner.
Edwin is a phenomenal person. I have to tell, there's a phenomenal people out there that I met along the way. But sometimes that's what we're talking about early on, how we get so busy on the routine in your life, and then you, not by choice, but you disconnect to people. And that's probably one of the most amazing people that I met in my life. I'm so grateful for him and his family. They're generally good people, Edwin, I mean, I get kind of, nowadays I'm really kind of emotional about that, but I mean, there's a good people there, and they are amazing people. Every time that I need a place to stay, at the time I was a competitor, and an athlete, they always open the doors for me, and I'm really grateful for their family.
Yeah, you never forget, right? Those things.
Oh, I will never
especially
forget.
when you.
I'm really grateful for them.
That's cool.
He's
That's
a
good.
phenomenal person. His family is amazing. It's probably one of the most amazing people I met.
Nice. And today you're in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tell me about your school.
Tennessee. Yeah, my school is good. So you're doing like we're talking about, like I think
Knoxville,
Tennessee. We involve, as an instructor, and my goal now is constantly focus on my students. How they're perceiving jiu-jitsu and how they're enjoying the journey. Is to make them most fun and most the best out of it. And that's my goal nowadays. It's not about me. I barely train now. You notice that, right? It's just really odd.
But you train. I think you train differently. Yeah? Your approach is different.
Approach is different.
And I think you have to.
I train every day.
Adapt.
I train every day, but my approach is different. And I really enjoy.
Nice. Also, to teach it differently as well, right? Which is we were talking about earlier.
Because then
it's nice to switch it up, right?
Yeah, because before I wanted to teach so I can train. Now I want to teach so everybody can have a understanding and have a lot of fun. And they come to me as like, man, I had a good time, And of course, we're breaking the mold, meaning people are still like thinking about one way, and there's nothing wrong thinking that way. But whenever I think I want to offer something, and I want a person to get full experience of it, and of course later I can answer all the questions, can show techniques like that. I still do that, but the first idea is to make sure that I give you a different perspective out there, because I think you have to expand your mind, right? There's several ways of training. If you're not, I try to be open-minded and experience as much as I can. So I'm diving in with the psychological training and see how far I can go. And I might change a little bit. I might change the format. So
adapt it to your style, make your own style, yeah.
Because that's what it's about. Constant evolution.
That's it, yeah. Kids programs. What are your thoughts on bringing out the best in the kids?
Yeah. So
with jiu-jitsu.
The best thing about jiu-jitsu for kids is like, nowadays and age, kids need to grapple. I think they like that part.
Physicality.
The physicality of it. And then for me, jiu-jitsu is really important for them. Because majority of the times they sit in a chair for 8 hours in school. They barely move. And when they come to a gym, they have like their ball of energy, And as an instructor, you have to be understanding about that. Imagine a kid sitting in the chair for hours. Then when they come to my gym, they have a lot of energy or low, depending on how much mental effort they put in the class, right? So knowing that, I want to provide the same thing. I want to provide the best experience for them. And we play games, we do different things that for them to be able to connect to jiu-jitsu in the most fun way. And you want them to be kids, you know. And then of course there's levels to it. You know, when you get to a high level, then you want to always challenging them physically and mentally. That's what it's about. And be able to challenge them in a sense of how far they can go, you know. And then not only that, to be in a competition level, not the thing is, oh, you challenge them as a competition, not necessarily. You know, you can create an environment where you can constantly challenge them on games and techniques and things like that. And then for them to understand jiu-jitsu, it's about in martial arts. The most important thing is the kid understand martial arts, which just means be only a champion. I heard coaches that they go there, they want their kids to win no matter what, so they hold them back in belts. They maybe demote them. They have other kids to wait the kid in. And for me, it's like, are you teaching the right thing for that kid? No, you're not. You're not teaching them to be a good person. You're teaching them kid how to cheat. And again, I'm not perfect.
Just winning, but more so than their development and improving
like
their skills,
improving
right?
the skills and do the right thing, right?
Improving their skills and them as people, right? As humans.
People, yeah. So again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm nobody to judge.
You're
anybody.
talking about that, right? Like being careful.
I'm not
judging,
saying, yeah.
You know,
I'm just saying
what
I think when I take my kids for competition.
Yeah. I'm asking you, right?
Yeah, I want them to be able to look at their belt. It's like, okay, I'm going to my belt. If I say, hey, no, you're not going that way. And they realize I'm going around corners of doing things for them to win no matter what.
Yeah.
And then they're going to question, you know. They might not question you because you're a role model for them, they won't. But when it becomes, you have to understand this. When that kid become an adult, they start understand things. They will question you. It's like, man, I remember my coach, you do all this. Are you going to be proud of that? Ask your that question. The same thing when I'm teaching my daughter. I want her to look back as an adult and say, hey, my dad was a hero. My dad worked hard. My dad did this. I don't want her to look back and say, hey, my dad used to do this for me to win all the time. You know, I want to have good memories. And that's why you not only molding the kid as a person, but you are later on what impact you give it to them, because they'll remember that everything. So,
yeah. All right, you're showing me you. I don't know how many years it's been, but you've been making jewelry.
Yes.
For every time you come in, you started connecting with Lano, right?
Yeah.
When you would come into town and then you started showing me the things that you're doing. So how did that start?
Oh, so
I think we talked about it last time we did a podcast.
So I'll start back. I don't think I told a lot of people about this. When my dad was working at IRS, and we were
in Brazil.
And
the Brazilian IRS.
Brazilian IRS, yes. He was an auditor. So he was going to this company, and he showed me all this different jewelry stuff and stones. And he planted the seed that moment. He's like, I think you can see you. You're so creative. I can see you doing jewelry.
Oh, interesting.
And that was a long time ago. And then, coincidence or not, I don't know, God's purpose. I think it's God's purpose. Because my jewelry now is based on more religious, spiritual side. Anyway, I did for jewelry for jiu-jitsu. Now I'm expanding, right? So there's a meaning behind it. I think jiu-jitsu is art. Jewelry is art. But anyhow, fast forward, my college, I did jewelry design as a summer program with
I don't know that.
Fatima Cavalieri. And I learned how to draw jewelry pieces. And then after that, I did a little bit of silversmithing, but not too much because jiu-jitsu was taking the majority of my time. When I came to the United States, I told my friend, he had a boat at the time. It's like, somehow came to my mind, I'm going to do jewelry for jiu-jitsu. I'm going to be a BJJ bracelet. And I did it. I designed it. And became really popular, successful. But I feel like then I did a little bit of change. I did I did a couple of times for like superheroes because I like anime. I'm a geek, you know. I'm a nerd. So I did that for that side. Now I'm doing like more like an expanding thing. God has a purpose in everybody's life. If you don't believe in God, everybody thinks there's a purpose. If you don't have purpose in your life, you are empty, you know, I think. I mean, I don't judge anybody, but whenever you have a purpose, you have something bigger than you.
We're talking about that. Yeah, it's like, you have to watch it, right? Like, because everybody does it. But it's like, hey.
But listen to this. But think about this.
Let it be, right?
Listen to this. When you become an adult, and become a father, there's a bigger purpose for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are your purpose. You do things, you sacrifice things for your kids. Don't necessarily mean a religious way, but whenever you become a father, everything changes, right?
Yeah, it's bigger than you, right?
It's bigger than you. Purpose is something bigger than you. You become selfless, right? And that's what I think. That's what I think. So everybody, whenever they say that, whenever you lose a
I felt
purpose,
blessed, because I was younger when I started the gym. It's been 25 years this year, right? In New Mexico and Santa Fe. And I feel really blessed because it's given me that purpose because I was just starting. I was some kid, but it gave me like a lot of, happiness, right? Helping others.
Yes.
I was still at the highest levels,
right?
Yeah. Well, I was still very selfish, but it gave me a balance.
Man, I'm telling this because I know from the outside perspective, okay? I'm going to give you what my thoughts were. You're a successful businessman. You're really smart, always being smart, man. I mean, that's what I look up to you all the time. You're always being a smart, centered person. You know what you're doing. And even though you think you're being selfish, you're not selfish because you always had a successful school. And that's what I know, from the outside perspective. I always thought you were really savvy as far as, business and many other things. I have a lot of admiration for you as a person. And you think you're selfish, but I don't think you are selfish as certain people are. I think you're more selfless than you think. That's my opinion.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I think if I think about that, I've thought about that as well. Like my mom was a teacher, my grandparents, they were on the board of education, so and my grandfather was an attorney, but he dedicated most of his life to creating nonprofits and just helping the community out,
Yeah.
And so I grew up with that, seeing that, and I think a part of me it's in my DNA, right? To want to help others, help the community,
Yes.
help people reach their potential, be their best,
Yes.
And then of course Jiu-Jitsu has given me such a platform to do that, right? Like touching and like the physical part, So thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I remember going to school, man.
But I was young, and I was definitely like driven and focused and competing and fighting, and I was a savage and bringing out. I'd make everybody would compete in the gym. Everybody would compete, even guys that didn't think they were going to compete, they became competing. And it's funny because Cliff, he lives in Houston now. He's an affiliate of Pablo Silva, right?
Yeah.
Tom Pless, he took over my Santa Fe gym when I moved.
Yeah.
But he's like, he was older. He was like an investment banker, a really smart guy, chemical engineer guy when he was younger. And he was just like, I really love the energy. I'm not like 25 anymore, but he was like in his 40s.
Yeah.
But he's like, I really like the energy. It reminded me of when back in the day in our school. So so there's some good, right? There's some good with that.
Yes.
But I hear that because some people tell me about other schools or other training with other competitors, and they just think about themselves. They just think about like how can I get better? They don't think about others.
Help the other person.
Yeah, helping the other.
Like that was
person.
like that. It's funny for you to say that. And I remember when I was like, that was the biggest transition for me. It's like when I was competing. I was still competing as a teacher. It was about me more than my students. I remember the guys came to me, and you don't understand those things because when you're an athlete, you're more focused on yourself. And I was like, the guy said, "Hey man, can you coach?" I was like, "Man, I'm coaching," and I thought that was coaching because, I'm gonna go in details, and I thought it was coaching, and I realized it later on as I became more and more selfless. Mm-hmm. There's levels to it.
Yeah, there's levels for sure.
And I feel like now I'm doing my best to be the best coach as I can in my potential. And I always remember that watching you went to school back in New Mexico, and man, you had everything so organized, so systematically done. And I think that I was like, man, this guy's next level. And I always have that admiration. It's like, man, how he's doing things, man. Look at it. You remember you have the time. You'll never forget this. Like, you were so ahead of the curve. Everybody was doing this 1 hour crazy class, and you're already doing 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you have levels where they get a big grade. Man, you have everything systemized so well. And I was like, dude, this guy's at next level.
I'd like to take all the credit, but that quote, right? If I've seen further, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
From Draclino to just even mentors and running a martial arts school, and yeah, just surround myself with yourself. Like always surround myself with people that are better than me, you know, at everything. And then I just
Man,
I just try to be a student.
You think be humble, but I don't remember anybody doing that. I don't know how you did it. You don't come with this. I'm really honest about my what I say, and I've been student of the game for a long time, you know, and observant in a certain extent. And I don't remember anybody doing that. You know, I think you were the first one that had a systemized, even the belt system. You had a belt system that you were using it. That it was like which is the most important thing. You know, you want to make your student excited. You want to keep them excited, make them happy in an extent, right? Because that's the reality. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, you want a customer to be happy. You want them to be excited. And we are driven by achievements. And you made you design the class to be achievement based, and where the kids get a satisfaction be achieving things.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. You know, I guess if I think back of those times, I wasn't scared to try different things.
Yes, that's the most important thing. You're implementing things.
I wasn't scared to try different things. If it was from a karate guy, because back in those days, there wasn't anybody having a successful jiu-jitsu gym.
School, yeah.
As far as the school, it was Fight Club days, right?
Yes.
But I wanted to keep doing this, and I wanted to keep doing it at the best of my ability, and I wanted the best results for the students ultimately,
exactly,
right?
Yes.
And so I was going to do whatever it took, right? And so I learned from, you know, people that were doing it better. And, you know, I wish I could take all the credit, but I did implement it. I would learn.
Things like
I would ask. I would try different things to see what would work and what didn't work.
Yeah, I think that takes courage, you know.
Thanks, man.
You know, I mean, is implementation.
It's like jiu-jitsu, same thing, right? Evolving your game.
Yeah, but implementing is harder though.
Yeah, because you get feedback.
You know?
People that you really love and care, they don't agree with you, right? And like, no, this is the way. And I'm like, let's try it for a little bit.
Yeah, let's see
and
how
see
it
if
goes,
it works.
right?
And that continues on here and there. That comes up, you know. Let's try. Hey, if it doesn't work, we at least tried.
Yeah.
And let's adjust, or maybe it's not exactly like this. Yeah, let's adjust it and let's do this, not do that, you know.
Yeah. This is the same thing with ecological training, you know. I do implementing slowly to a training session, and then now I get a really great feedback from my students. And again, I have a YouTube channel. They can go there anytime and check the techniques, you know. So I mean, that's I do for my students, and I do for the community as well, because before, you know, the mentality back in the day used not to share your knowledge.
Yeah.
And now, if you look at my YouTube channel, man, I have like so much
share everything.
I share everything. I don't hold back. I think I'm giving back to the community, give back to people that was always supportive, you know.
Yeah, awesome, man. You know, I'm always reading books and different things, right? Trying to learn from people that are better than me. And one of the books that I really enjoyed these last, I think, few years was the Sam Walton book, the Walton, I think it's called Made in America.
Oh, nice.
You know, how he built I think he was getting older. I'm not sure if he's passed away, but he was getting older, and he had some health things, and so he's like, I want to share my story and how it happened actually from my perspective. And it was really, really good. One of the things was like I always try to simplify things, right? Try to make it like, what are the takeaways, right? And so the two big takeaways that I took from, you know, his life basically, and how this thing became one of the biggest companies. It was the biggest company in the world for a while. Was one, not scared to try something new.
Yeah.
Not scared to try something new.
That's really important. Yeah.
You know, even if it didn't work out, at least he tried. Yeah. And then, okay, that didn't work. Let's try this, right? And so because he did that, he was able to evolve, you know?
Yeah.
And then two, speaking of like something bigger than yourself, he calls his associates, his employees, right? But they became partners of Walmart. Because you connect with people, you like people, right? You work together. You're like almost like, you know, say family, that's like overused, right? But like they became partners in the business. You know, you work with somebody, you train them, like you guys have a flow, right? Yeah. And they became partners. You know, and most of the early on partners, man, they're all like billionaires, right?
Yeah, because it's a multi-million-dollar company.
So they all became like billionaires, or you know, as soon as like he was giving opportunities, they became partners.
Believe in the dream, you know?
Yeah, and the core values and the things that were most important. Were
Yeah.
very clear, right? And if you work with somebody long enough, right, you kind of share the same values in a
Yeah.
way, but
Yes.
then you make sure those values are there as a North
Stay
Star,
there,
right?
yeah.
As okay, this is what matters, and if it needs to be adjusted again,
Make adjustments.
make adjustments as you go, right? But overall, like the big things, I think are going to be the big things,
The
right?
big things, yeah.
For the company, for the. I don't even like the word company or business, because it's like a spiritual thing in a way, like an energy
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right?
energy thing, yes.
And what you guys are doing, right? The big picture, helping people, right?
Yes.
Making the world hopefully better.
Exactly. Giving back, in a certain extent. And like I think that what comes down that whenever you connect to people and they have, like you said, same goals, same values and everything, it become a flow.
That's it.
Like you flowing energy, flowing ideas. And that's one thing like I realized, is that before you didn't have much of that. And I feel like that's something that there was no like sharing. There's no like flow. It was like really not dynamic. It was more stagnant.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think like maybe that was the mentality back in the day. And I think now you have.
But
more
I
like
think
a flow.
the more flow, and I think that's what works. The proof is in the
Yeah,
pudding. The
yeah.
proof is in the pudding, right? Look at
Yeah.
all the guys who are doing stuff that are winning things. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
That approach is correct.
His approach. Yeah.
You can talk all you want, but when results happen, right?
Yeah.
You're on the right path.
On the right path. I think like that's why like that's what become when I realized I became a better individual. I think when you start like sharing more, caring more about certain things, and it's eye opening. It's not easy
Having the right culture, right?
The right
Having the right
culture.
culture.
And then it's like our gym there. That's what we try to do. Everybody's so helpful.
Yeah.
You have guys there, man. I feel like I feel so blessed. Because I see my blue belts, my purple belts. Sometimes they're so giving. They're willing to get a new person and work with them, let them experience and completely selfless.
Yeah.
And that for me it is so exciting to see.
That's it. Yeah, awesome, man. Well, thank you for creating that and evolving and always getting better and improving.
Yes.
I just want to share just memories and stories I have of you back in the day, because you've always been, man, inspirational.
Oh,
Like you were
thank you.
always a super, like a lightweight. There was like, I was a lightweight. You were like a, rooster weight, and most of the guys, the better guys were like middle heavy,
Yeah.
they were big guys.
Yeah.
And it was always open weight, like didn't matter, right?
Yeah, it was
and
everybody against
to see you come on top or come like be ahead or win matches like
Yeah.
that, it's always you've been like an inspiration. Like for example, we were gonna go see Sudo tomorrow, at his gym in Legacy, San Diego. But I just remember him doing like a perfect fireman's carry on you, and you flipped midair, landed on your feet like a cat.
Yeah.
It was just a memory,
Yeah,
and he was
yeah,
just
yeah.
so annoyed that he did a perfect takedown, but because of your ability and
Yeah.
your movement, you're able to flip back in midair and land on your feet.
Yes,
I was
yes.
like, damn,
I remember.
I was like,
that
nice
day.
takedown,
I
but
remember
nothing.
the day. I
You remember
remember
the
that
day?
I remember. Yeah.
And that's just an example, but just over and over and over, seeing you win the tournaments. I remember we had the gym in Encino back in the day, sleeping
Yeah.
there, and then just performing, and leading, leading from the front, especially for like even the lighter weights, right?
Yeah.
And then representing those weights too at, like inside the gym,
Yeah.
and just
Especially in a day, this, man.
Yeah.
It was like
Only-
there was no easy. I say there was no easy day on the mats, for anybody. The only I say this is funny because a friend of mine. I remember I got to his gym, and the first thing that caught my attention was like, "There's no easy day. The only easy day was yesterday." And I remember that those days at the gym was basically that, right? No easy days there. The only easy day was the day beforehand. And you know this because you experienced. And I gave it to give it credit, the more I understand the game. Being an American, going to a gym that was like not the most friendly gym, and it's been challenging every day, That
After-
probably
yeah.
be
I moved to Brazil as when I was younger, right? I went to Rio, and everybody's like Rio is different because there's a lot of foreigners. But one of the reasons why I went to Belo Horizonte, Belo Horizonte was because everybody was so cool and warm to me.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, they were warm to me and not, and cool with me. But when it was time, it was
To go.
It was go time, right?
Yeah.
Nobody took it easy, right? Yeah,
Nobody.
nobody. And some of my best friends, they were the worst guys to not take it easy on me, right?
Yeah.
They
But it was the culture.
but yeah, it was the culture, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate all the experiences. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your example.
I appreciate you, man.
And
because, I mean,
still changing, still evolving.
yes.
Still, we're trying to be better people, right? Through
All the
this,
time. All the time trying to be better every day, That's the thing. Like, for example, I'm like go to spiritual aspect. I think that, I mean, I talk about and the Bible talks about this. You have to overcome the flesh, because the desires of the flashes are always not the best. You become to a primal almost. Flesh means like become more spiritual. Every time you become more spiritual, evolve yourself to the next level. That's what I believe. Flesh means like when you go to like the desires of your what the desires of the flesh are. Like you want to eat all the time.
Flesh.
Flesh.
FLESESH.
Yes, from the flesh. So,
Gotcha.
so whenever you do that, you like for example when you get mad, right? It's easy to get mad. Especially on the mats, you see people getting mad. It's just talking about that because you have no control. You have to evolve to get to the next level to be able to not that get to your head and sit back and think, what can you done better? And that's become to evolve it as a person, And whenever you're more involved, you become more spiritual. And then that's, I think, a beautiful thing about, like, it's been really good for me reading the Bible, all that, because whenever my desires, I kill all my desires, for example, greed, lust, gluttony, and all that, even anger.
Mm-hmm.
And you take that away from your life and become more spiritual, you're able to control emotions. And that's why you have to battle every day. In the mats, it's the same thing. When you lose, can you stay composed? For a black belt, for example, lost a round to a blue belt. Well, everybody's there if you play in the game is to be to win.
Yeah.
So you should not blame him. So whenever you take that and you learn, you're humble enough. And I see a lot of the guys here have that because the culture here. And whenever, and that's for me is one of the most important things. That's for me. So every day is a battle for everybody. So the more you are in tune with your more like selfless side, and you improve as a person.
I'm going to say again, thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your contribution to Jiu-Jitsu.
Thank you, brother.
Like I said, you're the man, okay?
The man is up there.
Yeah.
I'm just a tool.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for everything. And how can people find out about your instructionals, your YouTube, Instagram?
Yeah, so go BJJ.
Your school.
BJJ Out of Box is basically...
BJJ Out of Box?
Out of Box is our YouTube channel.
Okay.
You're going to get a lot of information there. Like I said, I used to be a guy that wanted everything for my students. Now it's a wide open. Everybody has access to all the knowledge we have there in the room. And the idea is I don't want to spread the jiu-jitsu. It'd be a good, a good example, and people can learn from us.
Mm-hmm.
And also our gym is wide open for everybody to come and train. We have a lot of people visiting nowadays. It's in Knoxville, Tennessee, or Braga BJJ is Braga BJJ is our Instagram, right? You can find us there.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, man. God bless you.